I would like to call upon one of our special guest speakers from the state of Karnataka. He represents the Karnataka Urban Infrastructure Development Finance Corporation, Mr. N. Srinivas, Executive Director. Thank you very much, Mr. Srinivas, for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone who are there out on a virtual mode, as well as all those who are present on the physical mode. So at the outset, I would like to introduce myself. I am N. Srinivas. I am Executive Director and Engineering Chief Officer from the Public Works Department of Government of Karnataka. I am also the Chairman of the State Technical Committee for Smart Cities Mission. So KUIDFC in Karnataka is an organization, is a corporation which looks after all the externally aided projects for the urban development domain in Karnataka. So we mainly engage with Urban World Bank, ADB, and other external lending agencies to create sustainable infrastructure in all our urban local bodies. And our core area of competency is in water supply systems, 24/7 water supply systems, the UGD networks, and other core infrastructure requirements of the urban local bodies with the aid of external agencies. We also look in a big way with respect to reforms in the urban governance sector, and we are the pioneers in ushering in ICT technology in all our urban local bodies, right from our first project with the help of World Bank. So we have digitalized all our urban local bodies in terms of governance tools, in terms of web creation, in terms of grievance redressal, and also many of such other applications like GIS-based property tax systems and other fund-based accounting system and other technological interventions to usher in better governance in the urban local bodies. So today I would like to speak a bit on urban mobility in smart cities in context of the Karnataka smart cities as to what we are trying to do in Karnataka with respect to this urban mobility. And as you know, you can see we have seven smart cities which has been selected in the state. If you can see the map, it has been very diametrically represented across the state in the middle part of the Karnataka. And we have one coastal town in Mangaluru and one Malnad town in Shivamogga. So totally we have 7 cities which has been selected under the Smart Cities Mission for Karnataka in 3 rounds. The next one. So coming to the today's topic, the urban mobility, we at Karnataka, after a lot of discussion with the stakeholders, we have put this holistic transport infrastructure, and around it, the hub and spoke model, we have created the 6 pillars, which we thought will aid in holistic transport infrastructure to usher in urban mobility in a better way in our cities. So the first one will be the integrated transport hubs, the smart roads and the parking solutions, the NMT infrastructure that is required in the city, and the pedestrian safety and the universal access, and the last mile connectivity and with impetus to electric vehicles. And to cap it on all of them, the integrated traffic management system with the use of ICT technology. So these are the pillars which we want to create in all our cities to bring in a holistic transport infrastructure. So now I would like to go on each pillar and also select 1 or 2 cities as to how these cities are doing with respect to these basic requirements for a holistic transport infrastructure. Next. So when we speak of a holistic transport infrastructure, the smart roads will always be the first priority. We have taken up, as per the mission guidelines, the area-based development, where we want to replicate a very good holistic transport infrastructure in the core part of the city, which can be easily replicated by the city in the later projects or in the later mission, so that the entire city bears the smartness in its infrastructure. So as a part of this holistic infrastructure, we have created a policy, we have evolved a policy which says that the footpaths are a must on all the roads. And we have created a 2-meter wide cycle track on the roads wherever we have a wider roads with greater than 15 meters of right of way. And wherever we found lesser than 15 meters of right of way, we have tried to create a pedestrian cycle track with lane marking and with some bollards as safety measures. And the underground utility ducting, we have considered in a wide aspect in all the roads, and also along with primary and secondary drains. And the carriageway improvements, of course, is a part of our smart road infrastructure, along with street furniture and avenue plantation. So if you see, we have given you a representative picture as to how each of the stakeholder has been given importance in this road infrastructure. While the mid part of the carriageway is dedicated for the vehicles, we have got a bioswales or the avenue trees, which will cater both towards the pollution as well as towards the reflection and other issues for the vehicle user. We have a safe and dedicated cycle track for the cycle enthusiasts in the city. We want to usher in a great way the cycling in our cities. And we also have a safe pedestrian passage in terms of dedicated footpaths along the drains of the road. So we have created the median infrastructure wherever we have a double road, and wherever there are single road, the lane marking with sufficient signage and other aspects have been taken care. So just for facts and figures, between 7 smart cities, we are creating around 230 kilometers of smart roads, out of which we have 110 kilometers of designated or shared cycle lanes. So if you can see, almost 50% of our roads, which we have taken up under the smart cities mission, we have given importance for the cycle lanes. And when it comes to the capital city of Bangalore, we are creating around 30 kilometers of smart roads, out of which about 10 kilometers of cycle lane is being developed. So we can go to the next city, the Bangalore. Here what we have done is we have created a network of the roads which has been selected with prior consultation with the stakeholders, the urban local body, and also the traffic density in this corridor. And we thought this 36 roads comprising of about 30 kilometers needs to be developed. And the Bangalore Smart City is investing huge in this infrastructure to an extent of almost 50% of its allocation. We'll be spending around 473 crores to create about 30 kilometers of sustainable world-class infrastructure in these 36 roads. So the major design feature which we have adopted in Bangalore is that the defined and disabled-friendly footpaths, the bollards to prevent the vehicle movement on the footpath, and the buffer landscaping. Wherever we had some additional land parcels available along the road, we have created landscaping in those, both hard and soft landscaping. And the designated parking space is one of the unique feature in Bangalore, where we have created designated parking spaces. And we are also now moving into a paid parking policy also, which has been unveiled by the government very recently. So what has been done in Bangalore is that we have maintained a uniform carriageway width and the junction improvements, and whatever that land parcels were available beside this carriageway, we have put into use for cycle lanes, we have put into use for pedestrian footpaths, for landscaping, and for some street furniture and other things. And the best part of it is the visible and clear signage which we have adopted, which will be a guiding factor for all the motorists who will be traveling along these roads. So I'll just show you glimpses of certain roads which have been completed recently under Smart City Mission, as well as another tender shoe roads concept which we have adopted. Perhaps Bangalore was the first city to adopt this tender shoe model, which is being replicated by many other states today. So this road is a Cunningham road which has been done under a tender shoe road, wherein you can easily find the best possible pedestrian way with bollards and the lane markings, the parking spaces and everything. Can we move to next? This is one road in the core part of the city which is called Church Street. This has been developed as a NMT street, and for the last 3 months, this road will be closed every weekend for any type of motor vehicles, and it will be open as a public space. So it is the happening place in Bangalore now, and we have got a great response from the citizen with respect to this initiative. So whatever the furniture, whatever the materials we have used, they are all sustainable materials. The pavement is also a cobblestone pavement, and also we have put sufficient seating and landscaping and other provisions. We have made provision for this bicycle entity also there. So this is one of the model which we want to replicate in other parts of the city. Next. So we can move on to a northern part of the city, Belagavi. So Belagavi is always called as the second capital of Karnataka because of its proximity towards the northern end of the state, and it is a lifeline between the Bangalore and Mumbai. So it falls in the high density traffic corridor of Chennai, Bangalore and Mumbai. So if you can see on the map that we have carved out 3 different entities in Belagavi Smart City as an urban mobility infrastructure. The red one is the NMT corridor. You can see the continuity of that corridor in terms of length of the road which we are trying to create for NMT friendly infrastructure. While the blue one, we have taken up extensively the white topping of the roads to give the road infrastructure the sustainable dimension. Because Belagavi being a Malnad area, we don't want our road to get spoiled very frequently. At the same time, we want to put all our utility below the ground in terms of water supply, sewerage, the LT and HT lines and other entities. And the third one is the smart roads, which will have all these smart components, including the environmental sensor with smart poles and other interventions like Wi-Fi access and other things. So Belagavi is going to spend more than about 50 crores to develop about 365 kilometers of footpath, out of which 70.9 kilometers are going to be cycle tracks, either dedicated cycle track or a safe cycle track with a clear lane marking after the carriageway. So we can move to the next. These are some of the pictures of the Belagavi Smart City, wherein the works are in very good progress. And you can see the dedicated cycle track on the photo, and you can see the pedestrian pathway which has been created at an elevated level. And the works are in progress, and I think we should be completing in by the end of this year. Next. As a second pillar which I was referring, the parking management system is one of the great infrastructure which we are trying to put up in all our smart cities to address the on-street parking and decongest our roads so that we can push some of these vehicles to off-street parking. And the approach adopted is dual one. One is the PPP intervention, which we are looking in a big way. And wherever the financial sustainability is an issue in smaller tier 2 cities, we are trying to do it on our SCM funds also. So this is the area, this is the idea which we want to do for the parking management system. So we can move on to Bangalore. Okay, we'll first see Mangalore. Mangalore Smart City has already tendered out a multi-level car parking facility in a site area of about 8,371 square meters. So it will be having a minimum public parking for 200 cars, and also a stakeholder rehabilitation is also considered. So we are rehabilitating them in the area which is being created for commercial spaces, and it will also have parking facility in 3 levels of basement, over which we will be having about 12 floors of retail mall to make this entity sustainable. So this is being done on a PPP model, where the city corporation is going to get almost about 4 crore per annum as an annual concession fee, apart from decongesting my core part of the Mangalore city. So you can see some of the architectural glimpses of the drawing which they have prepared. And this work is on now, and it is under execution. We will move on to Hubli Dharwad Smart City, where yet another multi-level car parking facility is coming right at the heart of the city, the Chennamma Circle, which is the highest congestion area in that city, with all the roads culminating in that spot. You can see on the Google map also, the circle which is represented is called Chennamma Circle. So we have a huge demand for on-street parking here, because it is a commercial area completely with all types of shops and other mobility issues. So we are trying to create this multi-level car parking facility on a PPP mode on a 32-year concession period. It will have a 2 basement with minimum ECS car space of 300 vehicles. And what has been integrated into this project is a public bicycle docking station also. As along this corridor, we have created the PBS, public bike sharing, which I'll be presenting in the further slide. So this entity will have that public bike docking station as well as charging station and other amenities. Along with, to enable a green building initiative, we are trying to put up the solar panel on top of this building so that it will become energy self-sufficient. And also we are trying to put up some vertical gardening on at least 30% of the entire surface area to give it a green building look. So this project is also on, and this is the second successful PPP project which we have signed after the Mangaluru multi-level car parking. So moving on to the next pillar, the improving the last mile connectivity. This is an issue which is being often debated, even in case of Bangalore or any other cities where we have this metro, that the last mile connectivity is always an issue, so that Bangalore has tried to address this in terms of short bus services from the metro station. But anyhow, considering the huge interest in cycling in the young students as well as all our IT and other sectors, Bangalore has gone a long way in giving this public bike sharing system to the city. So, but when we speak of across the state, we are going with both the model. One is a PPP model, the other one is a hybrid PPP model where we want to give certain construction grant from the smart cities grant in tier 2 cities, wherever we find that this PPP model may not be viable for the concessionaire. So under that, the phase 1, the pilot projects are on in almost Dharwad, Hubli Dharwad, Davangere, Tumkur, Bengaluru and Shivamogga city. And the dock and dockless PBS stations have been envisaged. The bicycles envisaged are manual, pedal assisted or e-bikes also. Keeping with the latest trend, we are trying to encourage the e-bikes also. So the next one. When we come to the Bangalore had a head start because we have a separate Directorate of Urban Land Transport. So which had taken this by a public bike sharing in a big way. So as on today, we already have covered about 271 plus hubs in Bangalore out of the 384 parking hubs which have been identified to have the potential to run this public bike sharing system. We already have about 12 kilometers of dedicated and shared cycle tracks. And the plan is to connect 40 plus metro stations and 3 traffic and transit management centers, which have come up across the city. And our metro connectivity is also being increased in all the directions. And in the future, we hope to connect all those metro stations also with this public bike sharing system. What has been used in Bangalore is a 4th generation fully automated dockless bike sharing. And the field has been left open for all the operators who would like to run the services. It is not a select and appoint model. It is open to any entrepreneur who wants to do this initiative in Bangalore city. So we already have multiple people here like Bounce, Yulu and Zoomcar. You can see the Google map which represents the various locations of these hubs and also what is the type of cycles currently being used. But this photo, I would accept it's slightly old because most of the cycles are now being replaced with pedal assist bicycles. So which we will be seeing in the next presentation. Yeah. So with respect to Tumkur Smart City, we are adopting a dockless system with a total square 5.48 square kilometers with 31 stations and more than around 400 bicycles. And in Hubli Dharwad, we are going with dockless system with 34 stations and 340 bicycles. While it is a PPP mode with VGF paid during implementation period in Tumkur, Hubli Dharwad has gone ahead with a mixed annuity concession model, which is a performance-based fee payable to the concessionaire based on the service level benchmark. So you can see the representation of the stations and also the route which we have envisaged for the public bike sharing in both the cities. So this is one new addition which has been brought into Bangalore. And this has been catered under the electric vehicle segment under the last mile connectivity. This is called Miracle. This is being provided by one of the service provider, Yulu. And within the PBS cluster of 384 hubs, we already have about 600 Yulu Miracles being deployed. And it is gathering a huge attention as well as usage by all the citizens of Bangalore. Across the Pan City, they are planning to put about more than 1,000 Yulu Miracles. It is already deployed. And I think this is going to be the order of the day or future in Bangalore with respect to public bike sharing concept. And as a big initiative towards the fame of the government of India, Karnataka and Bangalore has moved ahead with our Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation proposing to deploy around 300 electric buses, out of which an additional 80 buses are also being funded by the Smart City of Bangalore at a cost of 50 crore. So the model being adopted presently is to get these vehicles on lease on a kilometer basis. And the tenders have already been floated. And I think Bangalore should be getting its electric vehicle in the next 6 months at the earliest, which is going to transform the entire city landscape in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of zero emission, and being one of the pioneer city to use the electric vehicles in a commercial sector by a government entity, by a transport corporation. So the next, which I would like to tell you is about the electric vehicles, which we want to push in the tier 2 cities. So currently 3 cities have gone ahead, and we are doing the pilot projects to provide these e-rickshaws in the core part of the city. The idea is to identify a beneficiary who will be giving certain seed money from his end, and we will be tying the beneficiary to the bank for a loan and other things, and we will be getting these rickshaws from our end, and we will be distributing them to the beneficiary. So these projects are on in the Davangere Smart City, Shimoga and Tumkur Smart City. Based on its success and its acceptability and other things, we have to replicate it. One of the unique features which I would like to present is the bus rapid transit system. As an initiative, a novel initiative for the citizens of Bangalore, we have created 45 new bus services dedicated to this bus rapid transit system priority bus lane. So after a pilot project, we have found that the average speed of the buses has increased from 10 kilometers per hour to 18 kilometers per hour in this priority lane. What has been identified is the high density, 12 high density corridors, so that we can study the good and bad of it and also learn from the experience, and we would like to replicate this model in other parts of the city. As a first phase, we have selected the outer ring road between Silk Road and KR which is about 15 to 20 kilometers odd length. And this has been made entirely signal free or integrated signals, which makes moving around this corridor very hassle free. So we also want to target the occupancy rate of the buses by this new initiative to reach about 90%, which is currently is at about 65%, with this mixed model of transport wherein the buses share the infrastructure with other vehicles in Bangalore. So this we want to improve. This we want to select multiple points or multiple routes and make Bangalore a big entity in terms of bus rapid transit system. Because in Bangalore, we don't have provision for a greenfield development of a bus rapid transit system. So we have to do it on a brownfield mode. We have to rehabilitate. We have to use our better road available infrastructure in a better way. So that's what we are trying to learn from this initiative. So I would just present one case in the next, the Hubli-Dharwad bus rapid transit system. As many of you would be knowing, Hubli-Dharwad is a twin city in northern part of the Karnataka. Both these cities are at a distance of 22.3 kilometers. Hubli-Dharwad is always treated as a twin city, and there was National Highway 4 passes through these two cities. Mm-hmm. So need was felt for a bus rapid transit system along this corridor, and it has been now developed, commissioned, and is now running successfully. The project cost was almost about 1,000 crores for 22.3 kilometers, and we have created about 32 median stations between this 22 kilometers, and the travel time now has been reduced to 35 minutes from almost an hour and 10 minutes earlier. So if you can see, certain infrastructure created is being displayed on the photos. You can see the world-class infrastructure that has been created, dedicated bus lanes, which has been, this project has also bagged the Best Urban Transport Project Award from the Government of India. The last pillar which I would want to present is this integrated transport hubs or bus terminals, which we are proposing in all our smart cities. So this is a Mangalore smart city which has a old bus stand, which we want to develop into a model bus stand so that it acts as a transit point to the buses which are actually need to run in the city. So this is a plan. You can see it is in the core part of the city, and the photo which you see in the middle is a old bus stand which is presently available with haphazard parking spaces and other thing. The new one is a envisaged plan wherein each and every infrastructure will be upgraded, and the parking as well as routing of the buses will be better managed in the new entity. So this project is on at a cost of 25 crore, and this will be just as one transit facility, because I am going to tell you about an integrated transport hub in Mangalore smart city, which is going to come in a big way in a total site area of about 7.25 acres with 180 numbers of bus bay. So it is a multimodal transport hub which we are planning here. In the state-wide buses as well as intra-city buses as well as intercity buses, everything will be catered under this one entity which we call as integrated transportation hub. So it is going to have about 4 service bays to cater each type of the vehicles which are running in this Mangalore city, and it will have all the other paraphernalia and facilities which is required for a world-class integrated transportation hub. This is going to come up in a PPP model at a cost of about 500 crores. It is also being connected to the elevated highway corridor through subways, and it is going to act as one gateway to the Mangalore city, so that all the infrastructure needs will culminate or come into this one point and then move into the other parts of the city. Similarly, we have a town in mid Karnataka called Davanagere, which is known as the Manchester of Karnataka for its traditional textile industry, which was in its heyday some time back. So this is one of the old bus stand in Davangere smart city adjacent to the Pune-Mumbai highway, which was a traffic bottleneck. So now we have relocated this bus stand with better amenities, with better designing, and we have catered to the requirement of the city, as well as we have also cleared the national highway of its bottleneck. So because of this one project, we are going to get a good bus stand, as well as the bottlenecks on the PB road has been also been cleared. So this project is also started. We have about 63 four-wheeler parking and 95 two-wheeler parking with 12 bus bays, mainly catering to the city buses. To augment the facility in Davangere, we are also putting up a huge transport terminal in Davangere. The KSRTC bus stand, which is presently is being demolished. We are trying to create 2 entities here. One is a modern integrated transport hub along with a commercial complex to make the project viable. Here we are going to invest about 150 crores from the Smart City Fund, and the project is becoming about 30,166 square meter. So it will have all type of amenities, including the commercial complex, the multiplexes, the food courts, along with a good dedicated transport terminal also. Next. So we come to the one more city, the Tumkuru Smart City. Here also we are trying to create an integrated bus terminal. Here that facility is being created at 2 levels. At the level 1, we are going to cater for all the Mofficial buses or the intra-city buses or intercity buses. Whereas in the level 1, we are trying to cater for all the interstate and other inter-district buses. So this bus stand is going to have a 2 level of bus base, and it's one of a kind in Karnataka, which we are trying to do it for the first time. Of course, it will have all the commercial retail spaces, office spaces, and other things to make the project sustainable. Here we are investing about 180 crores of smart city money to build up a world-class infrastructure for Tumkur Smart City. Next. So these are some of the floor plans which you can see. The next one, please. It's an isometric view of how the facilities are going to be inside the terminal, how the people are going to access the both levels of the bus base. So it is a pictorial depiction of.
Yeah.
And lastly, but not the least, the signage and the road safety measures. Karnataka and Smart City Mission in Karnataka has given enough impetus to see that we create sustainable road safety as measures in place. Also the signages in bilingual signage, one being the Kannada and the other one in the English, is a minimum requirement which we have mandated for all smart cities to put up these signages. One of the city project is being displayed here for the Davangere Smart City, wherein the city is investing almost about 5 crores to cover this entire 77 square kilometer with proper signage and road safety measures. And the last one, I think it is a redevelopment of old city bus stand, which we were discussing earlier also. This is along with the MLCP. Even this bus stand is almost a 100-year-old bus stand, which we want to relocate. And also we want to integrate with the bus rapid transit system, which has been created for Hubli Dharwad, which I already presented to you some time back. So here also we are integrating the BRTS bus station along with booking office, so that the entire BRTS buses will be rerouted into this bus terminal, newly developed bus terminal, so that I am avoiding congestion on my highway. Right now, all my BRTS bus station is lying on the highway, which we want to shift it to the new bus stand. So this project is also on, and I think it should be hopefully coming up in the next 1 year down the lane. That's
Great.
it. So I think these are some of the floor plans. So I would like to rest my case at this point. and
Yeah.
wishing the organizers all the best, and also thanking you for providing me and KUIDFC an opportunity to be a part of this conclave. Thank you very much.
So that was Mr. N. Srinivas, Executive Director from the state of Karnataka, Bangalore, Karnataka Urban Infrastructure Development Finance Corporation, covering all the smart cities in Karnataka. We are glad that KUIDFC has a special focus on clean and green transport, and lot of technology and integration is happening. At the same time, the intercity connectivity is also improving. We're glad to see in the coming days these are all going to the citizens are going to realize the benefits of this planning.